What are the most common causes of failure or delay when developing a medical device that you've encountered?
Most common, boy, there's a lot of reasons for things to fail, and it runs the gamut from the team not being synergistic to the technology having problems to just not being able to sell the thing properly. But I think one of the common things I see, if by the way, there's a lot of incubators and accelerators around here that can help you too. I'm part of the UCSF, their Lean Launchpad, Skydeck. My co-chair runs the Skydeck at Berkeley. California Life Science Association has a great accelerator. There's a lot of them. So they can help as well. But one of the things that they'll do at UCSF is they really push people to go out and do customer interviews. And so this is true in any market. You really have to understand what the customers want, and you got to define a customer. Obviously, it could be a clinician, it could be a patient, it could be a striker, it could be lots of different people. So you got to understand what your customer is and what their needs are. And one of the things that I see very commonly where products fail, especially if you're using partners to develop the product, is the companies don't get close enough. Actually, it sounds a little odd, but to the development partners. So they rely on them to develop the product, but they don't care as much as you. And so you really have to stay close to it and use the product a lot. Get prototypes into the field, get customer feedback, really understand what the customer wants and that the product is working properly and meets a need.
Yeah, I'll underscore understanding the customer, whether it's medical or not. That's a failure I see a lot. I would say in medical devices, the failures are usually from a lack of understanding how long it's going to take. You've got to have a lot of extra time in a medical device because of the regulations, because of waiting for the FDA approval, waiting for reimbursement codes. There's a lot of different things, and it's very common for people who haven't been through it before to not allow enough time, and not having enough time often means running out of money and failing.
I agree with what's been said. I'd add to that in my opinion and observation, perhaps the most common source of these failures is bad decisions. If you make a bad decision, you can pivot and you can backtrack if you recognize it quickly enough. But if you spend 2 years based on a bad decision, you're never getting those 2 years back. And those 2 years may have just cost an investor millions of dollars. And so there's a trick. How do you know a bad decision? There's the magic.
How do you know a bad decision? And you have to have the courage to face them if you find you've made one. We're knee deep in the development right now. So in terms of cycle times do take longer probably than anybody. It's just standard. Every company ends up saying that. Yeah, it ends up taking a lot longer than you expected, even when you do your back timing. I would strongly encourage product development teams to think about the end goal and back your timelines out from that as a best practice, rather than saying, I'm just going to do the next incremental thing, because your CEO has to have a plan and has to know how long it's really going to take and how much money it takes to get to that milestone. I'm going to add one more thing that I should have said on the investment side as well, is you're really developing, when you're building a company, you're developing 2 products at the same time. One of them is the product you're going to put in the customer's hands. The other is your shares. Your equity is a product that you are building as you're building the product and the team. So really also think about that in terms of the overall strategy development, is you're building value in the shares of your company alongside building the product.